Star Wars was a franchise too big to fail, until Solo came out, that is. The prequel, which was all about the backstory of fan-favorite Han Solo, flopped financially. No Star Wars film has ever done this before, so what went wrong? The movie did gain largely positive reviews from critics, even if many thought the story was one which didn't need telling. Yet that didn't translate into box office gold. Recently, Lucasfilm CEO Kathleen Kennedy spoke candidly about mistakes made during the process. In 1977, a fairly unknown actor named Harrison Ford took the role of Han Solo in a movie called Star Wars. Little did he know that the movie would go on to spawn one of the biggest franchises of all time. And not only that, but Han Solo would end up becoming a truly beloved character as well. Solo was a main character all the way to the end of the original Star Wars trilogy. In its final chapter, Return of the Jedi, Ford suggested Solo be killed off. However, Star Wars creator George Lucas thought differently, and Solo ended the movie alive, well and continuing his relationship with Princess Leia. Solo didn't appear in the 1999 to 2005 Star Wars prequel trilogy, although the idea a cameo was floated around. Apparently, Lucas briefly considered having a young Solo show up in Revenge of the Sith. In the movie, the character would appear on the planet Kashyyyk, obviously played by an actor other than Ford, but he changed his mind in the end. In 2012, Lucas started work on a Han Solo prequel story alongside Lawrence Kasdan, who would be writing the script. However, that same year the director sold Lucasfilm for $4 billion to Disney, and the project faltered. Kasdan instead began working on live-action Star Wars sequel The Force Awakens. I sat with George in April of 2012, and the company was sold in September of 2012. So it was a relatively short amount of time before. But one of the first conversations I had creatively with George was about doing other movies than the saga film. Disney's Kathleen Kennedy told Film in 2015. And he had a few ideas he was kicking around. But he was very open to where this might go in the Star Wars universe. The Star Wars universe was always going to be different under Disney. For starters, the company planned to release one movie every year from 2015. That year saw the J.J. Abrams directed The Force Awakens hit cinemas, followed by Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the first spin-off, in 2016. In 2017 came The Last Jedi, which made millions but was controversial among Star Wars fans. After writing the script for The Force Awakens, Kasdan teamed up with his son, John, to finish a script for the Han Solo prequel. The announcement finally came in February 2013 that the movie was going ahead. The new flick would be directed by Christopher Miller and Phil Lord. And a release date was also given, May 25, 2018. Finding someone suitable to play a young Han Solo was the first port of call for Miller and Lord. In 2016, Variety magazine released a report of the actors who were apparently on the shortlist. They included, among others, Ansel Elgort, Dave Franco, Logan Lerman, Miles Teller and Scott Eastwood. Variety had received some rumors about what Disney might be doing with the Solo character. While insiders were unable to confirm, the new Solo could have a small cameo in Rogue One, a Star Wars story, before appearing in his own standalone pick, the magazine reported. News of who'd been cast came in May of 2016. Alden Ehrenreich, a star of the Coen brothers movie Hail, Caesar, had landed the iconic role. Miller later tweeted out a picture of Solo's blaster gun with the words "Can't wait to get shooting." However, as it turned out, Ehrenreich's Solo didn't show up in Rogue One after all. By the end of 2016 the movie had become Solo, a Star Wars story. In addition, a few more important people had also nabbed roles in the flick. Emilia Clarke of Game of Thrones was cast as the female lead, while Donald Glover signed on to play the younger version of Lando Calrissian, another iconic character from the original Star Wars trilogy. And Joonas Suotama would play Chewbacca. Filming started in January 2017. And Solo quickly started to rack up a massive price tag, spending $54.5 million in less than a month. The production traveled all over the world to shoot, going to Italy and in the Canary Islands. Everything seemed to be going just fine, but then all of a sudden, a bombshell hit. The directors, Miller and Lord, had both been fired. The news hit in June 2017, shocking those following the movie's development. According to Variety, they had worked through months of conflict with producer Kathleen Kennedy. In addition, the pair thought that they were not being granted freedom to run the production in the manner that they were accustomed to. The Hollywood Reporter then shared more details. Neither Miller, Lord or Kennedy were saying anything to the media, but some anonymous sources had made worrying claims. Among the reasons for the rift, one of the sources told THR, was that the directors had been given zero creative freedom, and faced extreme scheduling constraints. Miller and Lord collaborate closely with their actors and give them creative freedom that, in their experience, brings out the actors' best performances, the source told THR. Kasdan would not allow this and demanded that every line was said word for word. To appease him and the studio, the directors would do several takes exactly as written and then shoot additional takes. Kasdan apparently disliked that Miller and Lord were encouraging the actors to try different lines than the ones he'd written. It seemed the differences between them had become too much. There was another problem too. THR also mentioned that an acting coach had been hired for Ehrenreich, implying he wasn't up to the job. The Hollywood Reporter got a quote from someone they named only as a top executive at a rival studio. This person revealed that all of the Star Wars films had been troubled. Indeed, according to the source, J.J. Abrams was powerful enough to push back on an unrealistic start date for the first movie, but that was a tug-of-war. New director for the movie was quickly found. Kasdan was considered for the role, but couldn't take it. This is due to the Directors Guild of America guidelines stating that someone already involved in a movie can't replace a fired director. 2 days after the dismissal of Miller and Lord, George Lucas collaborator Ron Howard came on board. Howard sent out a tweet about his involvement soon after. And it was seemingly crafted to reassure people that things weren't as bad as they appeared. "I'm beyond grateful to add my voice to the Star Wars universe after being a fan since May 25, '77, he said, referring to when the first Star Wars came out. "I hope to honor the great work already done and help deliver on the promise of a Han Solo film."